Story 1. I once went on a date with this girl, bought her dinner, went downstairs to the bar and nightclub for a drink afterwards. She ran into some girlfriends and just went over to their table, sat down and started chatting and drinking. I sat alone for about 20 minutes, then just left without saying anything. Never heard from her again. Story 2. Had a dinner together, and the entirety of her contributions to the conversation were repetitions of "yep" and "that's cool" and such. Even when I tried to ask her questions and engage her in the conversation, she just had nothing to add or to say. It was pretty clear it wasn't sparking. Story 3. After chatting for about a month, I asked her out for the second time. Want to meet up and hang out somewhere? Yeah, I'd like to meet. Cool, so are you free this week? No. How about another day next week? No. So maybe the week after? Or after that? No, can't. Okay, so when can we meet? Let me check and get back to you. 10 months. 4 days and 5 hours since then, and I still haven't heard from her. Story 4. When every conversation is abruptly ended by "laugh out loud." Edit. I've been very busy lately, but I'm happy that you all liked this comment so much and could relate to it. The award is extremely appreciated. Story 5. When they couldn't remember any conversation we previously had and made the excuse that their phone's text history resets every day, it didn't take a genius to figure out she deleted them herself. Story 6. When she asked me if I knew if my friend was interested in anybody, I was only just starting to maybe have a crush on her. So it didn't hurt, but it definitely wasn't pleasant. Story 7. We flirted for several weeks and hung out every day. I kept feeling a closer and closer connection, but due to circumstances I could not control, we were never alone enough together for me to test it. I had some friends plan a camping trip and I invited her and she said yes. I even specifically told her there would be 2 couples there, so we would be in a tent, just the 2 of us. She said she knows. We got to the trip, had a few drinks, and I asked her if she wanted to take a walk with me to look at stars. Once we were a little away from everyone, I told her how much I liked her and attempted to go in for a kiss. Nope. Sorry. I'm not what you're looking for. Shattered me, utterly gutted. Story 8. Asked her to senior prom. She said yes, but when we got there, she left me to hang out with another guy she liked. It wasn't too bad, though, because I danced with another girl who I got along better with. Story 9. Back in college, I took a girl on a lunch date. We had a really nice time. When it was time to leave, I told her I had to get to work. She asked, "Where do you work?" I said, "McDonald's." And I could literally see her attitude shift in 1 second. Oh, cool. As I was driving her home, I asked, "So can we hang out again?" She replied, "Yeah, totally." The next day, I texted and asked if she wanted to hang out. She never responded. Story 10. Can I have time to think about it? Then nothing, radio silence for like a month. Next time we talked, it was as if that moment never happened. I've had every rejection under the sun used on me. Laughter, a straight up no, coming up with an excuse halfway through the date to leave, being ghosted. It's not you, it's me, and so on. One even claimed that she liked me but her parents didn't approve, only to find out later that her parents actually thought I was great and would repeatedly ask her about me. In that case, I think she just wanted sex and nothing more, which I should have seen from the start. But that one, can I have time to think about it? Damn, I'm over it now, but I'll never forget how much it hurt. Story 11. I have heard them all. I like you as a friend. I think we should see other people. I do not speak English. I am married to the sea. I do not want to kill you, but I will. Story 12. At a bar with some friends. My friend John starts trying to chat with this girl and her friends. I approach and try to help him. This girl makes hard eye contact and says, "Well, it was great meeting you guys." I, of course, say, "Likewise," and take John aside to explain to him how to recognize when girls are politely telling you to go away. Story 13. My roommate encouraged me to ask this girl out. He said she really liked me, so I asked her out and set a dinner date. I picked her up, and at dinner, she barely responded to me. I asked questions about her major, her family, and so on, and all I got back were short answers and no follow-up. I was frustrated, and she was unhappy, and I guess we both looked miserable when the waitress told us that we needed to perk up and be happy. She then asked how long we've been dating. Her face fell when I told her this is the first date. She said, "Oh," and walked away and didn't really talk to us again. After dinner, we were supposed to go to a friend's house who was having a party, but I looked at her in the car and said, "Look, obviously neither one of us had a good time. Instead of going to the party, why don't I take you back to your dorm?" She said yeah, and that was it. I went back to my roommate furious and asked him why he thought she had a crush on me. He said he thought she would once she got to know me. Yeah, well, she didn't. Edit. Wow, didn't expect this kind of reaction. To answer a few questions. 1. Why did she even go on the date? I have no idea. Motives of my roommate? I had a pretty bad breakup a few years before, and I believe he was trying to help me out. When I came home and confronted him on it, he said what I posted above, making me realize he hadn't even talked to her. This unfortunately did happen. I can laugh at it now, but I was furious back then. This happened around 1991 or 1992. Edit 2. The waitress really did put her foot in her mouth, but it was good for me to hear that yes, this is a horrible date and it's obvious to other people too. Time to cut your losses and go home. Story 14. I mean, if I am talking to a girl and she does not make eye contact and answers with one-word answers, my default assumption is that she does not want to talk to me. Story 15. Also, I have to tell this because it's hilarious and I know for a fact it's true. A girl I know was dating a guy who turned out to be married. The wife found out but stayed with the husband. So the guy gets in a car accident and the girl calls to see if he's okay. The guy tells her he has amnesia, doesn't remember her, and he's with his wife now. He said he got amnesia to get rid of the girl. Story 16. I didn't realize until I asked her out. We had been talking and hanging out for a few months. She and I had matching personalities, and we were both more energetic around each other than around others. I had a massive crush, and I felt like taking a chance, so I told her I liked her. She said, "Damn, I'm really sorry. I feel we're better off as friends." I guess I didn't realize she wasn't into me until she said as much. I moped for a while before finally being able to have a stuff happens attitude towards it. Nowadays, she's happily with someone. Our friendship has faded away, which is actually more upsetting than being rejected romantically. I'm still single, but I'm happily single, so it's alright. If I ever feel that feeling again, I will always take that risk. It's been 7 years since then, and I haven't felt that feeling yet. Reading all the replies, I still have a lot to learn and digest. I appreciate everyone's input. Story 17. The teacher assigned my crush to dance with me. She screamed no and chose another guy. I'll give more context. This was our graduation trip, and it's the last day of it. It was compulsory that everyone chose a partner of the opposite sex to dance with. My crush on her was quite well known in my class, so all of them, including my teacher, suggested that I dance with her. Of course, she refused and chose another random guy. I had to find another girl from another class that I never even talked to. Feel sobat, man. Story 18. She kept talking about how she needed more commitment from me. The relationship had turned long distance. I was paying for the travel and doing the majority of the traveling, as I was the one who had moved away. I sustained it for about a year, but I realized that she wasn't into me enough to take what she perceived as a risk in moving 5 hours drive away from her family. She never spoke about her needing to show commitment to me. I think what finally did it was when she got a raise similar to what I was making, and I brought up her starting to contribute to the travel costs. She laughed like it was a joke. I clarified I was serious, and she brushed it off. Nope, I'm out. I stuck around longer than I should have. It was her first serious relationship, which in retrospect I think was a big factor in some of the immaturity. Story 19. She gave me a thin paper wristband she had made which said, "The wristband of friendship." Edit, this blew up. Thank you for the kind words and awards, but please, don't spend your precious money on me. You all made my day anyways. Story 20. Oh snap. So, last fall I went to class and ran into this really cute girl and I thought, hey, I'm gonna try to talk to her more. And over the next 2 weeks, I found 0 openings until we were told to get into groups for a project. It was a small class, but I wasn't in her group, so I asked her if it was cool if I joined her group because they seemed more serious than my other group. Bunch of losers. She said yes. So it was me, her best friend, and another girl I talked to for a bit. We agreed to meet up on Friday at the library. We talked a bit more before then and became friends. She's really touchy, so she'd grab my arm, lean on me, etc. I thought she was into me. I show up early and she was there alone, so we began to talk, and she's so much like me. She has a weird sense of humor, very smart and super friendly. She even liked Dragon Ball. That's the dream. Also, her favorite Spider-Man movies were the originals and not the Holland ones. Then the other 2 girls arrive, and I see her phone and her lock screen is of her best friend. The other girl comments, "Ah, your best friend's your lock screen?" And she says, "Nope, my girlfriend's my lock screen." So that really made me realize she totally wasn't interested in me at all. Funny thing is, we all are still really good friends. We've tried to take classes together, and she's helped me out when I had trouble. I accidentally ruined her surprise birthday party. We hung out while we could. She'd buy us lunch, invite us to her place, and we really have a good time together. Those 3 girls are the best friends I've made in university. It's kind of sad. But before, I went like 6 months without anyone in college saying my name or even talking to me. They weren't mean. They were just not my friends. But I met these girls and I have a friend network. I have a constant study group, and she's even helping me lose weight because I couldn't do it on my own. She wasn't into me, but I honestly couldn't care less. I'm way happier now than I was before I met her. Story 21. She began to become very confusing and unclear. At first, I thought it was normal for girls to be this way, but with time and perspective, I realized she just didn't like me anymore and felt too bad to let me know, though she did say it after I confronted her. Sucked. It broke me, and it still hurts. If you're ever put in a situation where you don't like someone anymore, just be direct about it. Story 22. When I feel like I have to constantly be the one to start the conversation, and it takes so long for them to answer, or worse, they sometimes don't answer at all, I can sometimes get the conversation going again. But if it happens 2 or 3 more times, I'm usually done. It's pretty clear to me. Another case is when she shows a clear interest in someone else or starts dating someone else. And this has happened to me so many times. I guess I'm not that good at online chatting or texting, or maybe I'm not interesting at all, or I don't know when it's time to be more direct. Story 23. Not a girl, a guy. He wanted to call me on Discord, and once I got over the anxiety bit of it, we called. Started out pretty well, and then his sibling came in. They started talking, and he went on Snapchat. Then he suddenly called his friend and just started talking to her as I sat there in disbelief. I don't know if he was into me, but it sure didn't seem like it. Story 24. You would be shocked at how many girls said they were into me after they started dating someone else. I totally had a thing for you. Wish you had asked me out. Laugh out loud. Yeah, well, I am not good at hints. Story 25. I don't remember how we ended up talking, but I ended up asking her out to dinner and she said yes. We went, ordered our food, and ate. The entire time she was on her phone, so I just paid my bill and left. 10 or 15 minutes after I left, she started calling my phone. Not to ask where I was, but to demand why I didn't pay for her food. I just responded by blocking her. Edit. Everyone calm down, Jesus Christ. Don't give me awards, they don't do anything. Instead, please gift the money to a charity. That way it'll actually help something. Story 26. So I was on one of the nightly FaceTime calls with this girl I was super into. Then at around 4 in the morning, she says that she is getting a call from someone and needed to answer. The next morning, I see her Snapchat story of her on FaceTime with another guy. The next night I call her and she says she is already on call with someone and it turns out to be the same guy. We lost touch and I am pretty sure those 2 got together. Edit. I showed this post to her and she said thanks for the likes. She found it funny and she said that at that time she was into me but she just lost feelings and met another guy. We had a good laugh about it. Also, I am in a relationship at the moment. We both moved on but she moved on a lot quicker. Story 27. A close friend of several years who I had a bit of a crush on had been single for a while, as had I. One day, She called me on the phone out of the blue and said, "I'm so lonely. Want to drive up? And we'll be together?" Why, yes, now that you mention it, yes, I do. But she lived a 5-hour drive away and I had to work. So, I worked, then hopped into the car the next morning and drove up for a visit. We hugged, went straight to her bed, but I was getting less than a sense of full enthusiasm. Still, she seemed willing. Then, as we just began to start, a few kisses, hand under the shirt, she started crying. Now, here's a little hint to all you guys out there. If she starts to cry, she's not happy. So, naturally, I put the brakes on and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And she's not into it. Yes, she's lonely, desperately lonely, but I'm a friend, not a potential lover. She likes me, but she's not into me that way. But here's the thing. She's still willing to go through with it because I drove 5 hours after all. No chance. She's not into it, then I'm not into it. We hugged, went out for dinner, had a great time. I slept on her couch for the next few days of the visit. Curiously, that same visit, she introduced me to a friend of hers, who I dated happily for 6 months until the 5-hour commute wore it down. Summary, she started crying. Guys, when she's crying, it's time to call it.